Yep, so my name is Inez and I'm the Director of Active Disclosure at Donnelly Financial Solutions. In short, we call ourselves DFIN, DFIN, which is also our ticker on the New York Stock Exchange. So earlier today, you've met counsels, you've met bankers, you've met auditors, IR, and now with me, you've met filing agent, also known as a financial printer. So for those of you who are new to the IPO space, you'll probably be wondering, what exactly is a filing agent or financial printer? And why do I need one for my IPO? So let me break it down for you. So let me break it down for you. So first of all, a filing agent will be responsible for ensuring that all critical legal and financial paperwork for your IPO is accurate, it looks professional, it's formatted correctly, and is submitted to your regulators and your investors on time. Okay. So our scope of work includes the creation, the formatting, and the submission of all your regulatory filings. At the pre-IPO stage, we're looking at the DRS as well as the F1. And at the post-IPO stage, we're looking at 20F, which is your annual report, 6K press releases, and all your other disclosure documents. And if you require the document to be presented in multiple languages, we will also be handling the translation services. And after submission, we'll handle the printing and the distribution. Okay, so your next question would probably be, then how do I select a filing agent for me? Right, so first and foremost, look for a filing agent that has worked with Korean companies on their US IPOs. Because this would mean that these companies understand the unique dynamics of Korean corporate and reporting practices. Right, we're talking about specific accounting standards, corporate practice, corporate structures, regulatory filings, and the nuances and be able to translate all of these into US regulatory frameworks. Next, it's also important to look for one that upholds security and confidentiality, because the information handled during the IPO process is highly confidential. So it's very important that you work with a filing agent that has a good reputation. There's some out there that have been caught for mishandling of information or insider trading, so do stay clear of such companies. Next would be technological capability. Does the filing agent that you work with have the advanced tools and solutions to help handle your IPO process in a more efficient and accurate and timeless way, right? Because this is really important. With the technological edge, it will make a huge difference in your IPO experience. And last but not least, work with a company that has global network support. Because your members of the working group will likely be made up of people from different geographical locations. So it's important to work with a company that also supports you across multiple geographical locations. Okay, so now you understand more about who we are, what we do. It's time for me to introduce our company, DFIN. So DFIN stands for Donnelly Financial Solutions. Okay, and we're the leading filing agent for US IPOs, not just in Korea, but all around the world as well. We have been around for about 160 years, and in Korea, we've been doing business for about 30 over years now. Okay, my colleague, Ms. Jung-Yun Moon, she has been our country manager of Korea for over 20 years, so you can trust that she knows everything related to US IPOs in Korea. As you can see on screen, these are just some of the Korean companies that we work with. Webtoon, Shinhan, Capco, KT, POSCO, Worry, KBN, even more that are not on screen at the moment. Okay. In addition to Korea, we do support clients all around the world. And this is just a snapshot of some of our clients' IPO milestones. So this is exactly where DFIN sits. We're the central point of contact that, between the issuers, the counsels, the bankers, and the auditors. So when the working group comes together to draft the document, we will be the ones responsible for ensuring that the document is formatted correctly and is ready for the regulators. So how exactly do we then support you on your IPO? Right, so we'll break down into 4 key milestones: preparation, pre-filing, initial submission of F1, and live post-IPO. So for a start, preparation would be about 12 to 18 months, sometimes even more than that. Okay, so during this phase, it's all about IPO readiness. And during the process, you're likely to be asked to share an extensive amount of data, sensitive company data, with external parties for due diligence and for fundraising. And it often makes companies very nervous when they're told to share their information. Well, rightfully so, because of cybersecurity concerns and data privacy laws like GDPR. In the case of Korea, you have PIPA. But there are very secure ways they can share such information. I'm not talking about just your Google Drive, your Dropbox, right? Those are very generic. I'm talking about technologies that were specially built for you to share sensitive information. And these are what we call virtual data rooms. At DFIN, we do offer a virtual data room called Venue. And Venue is constantly aligned with the cybersecurity standards all around the world. Right? It also has amazing features like being able to customize each and every person's user's privileges, each and every person that's working on your files. You're able to see all the activity that's going on. And you can also have automatic redaction on personal information. Okay, so this makes it a really secure channel for you to share information with external parties. And at this stage, you would also be building up your ERP systems, right, to ensure that you have integrated and reliable data and systems required as a public company. Right, this would be needed for financial reporting, for regulatory compliance, and for operational efficiency. So DFIN, together with the rest of our partners, can engage and support you in those conversations as well. Next would be pre-filing. So this is the time that you start preparing your draft registration statement. And this is where you start telling your business story, your risk factors, your audited financials, and all other disclosures required by the SEC. And as an issuer, you have two options of how you want to draft this document. Right? Option one is what we call a traditional full service, and option two is software. So most filing agents out there would offer you either option one or option two, but at DFIN, we'll offer you both. Okay. So for option one, the traditional full service, during this process, you would engage DFIN by outsourcing the entire work to us. So we would take care of all the technical elements like the formatting, the ADGA conversion, making every run of change on your behalf, and right down to the submission. This option provides you with strong compliance oversight, but at the same time, because every round of revision has to come through us, it tends to slow down the process. And you would also end up with multiple versions of a single document. So that brings me to my next point, which is option two, software. At DFIN, we do have an IPO drafting software, which we call Active Disclosure. And this was built in partnership with Microsoft. So even Microsoft themselves are using this for their SEC filings. So clients on Active Disclosure can allow both their internal and their external working groups to come together to collaborate on their prospectus in real time without having to worry about version control, because the system takes care of it for them. Right? And the software also offers instant ADGA conversion, and it allows you to sync up your Word and Excel files with your prospectus. So if you were to use an Active Disclosure and you had made a bunch of changes on your Excel spreadsheet, you do not need to copy and paste them onto Active Disclosure. Right? All you need to do is sync up your documents, and all the changes that you have made on your Excel will be instantly reflected on your prospectus. And I'm not just talking about the tables being updated, but right down to the figures in the text as well. So if you had numbers in the text that relate back to the tables, those numbers in the text would also be automatically updated. So this becomes a really efficient, really accurate process during your IPO journey. Okay? Next would be initial submission of F1. So after you have received and responded to the SEC, next would be your public submission, right? And at this time, your investors and your competitors can start reading your disclosure document. And this is also when the market starts paying attention to you. So it is more crucial than ever to ensure that your filings during this stage continue to be timely and accurate. And if you were to be using software like Active Disclosure, right, it can help you shorten the time to market because it provides you more efficiency in the process so you can more quickly move on to the next stage, which is going public. So you've hit the button to go public, you've rung the bell, you have had your champagne, and now reality sets in, right? So at the post-IPO stage, you would find yourself having to deal with annual reports, quarterly reports, board reports, investor presentations, earnings call strip, and so on and so forth. And it can be very overwhelming to manage. But the good news is, if you have a software like Active Disclosure, you can have them all housed on a singular platform. So when you make a change to a single document and you want your information to be consistent across all your other documents, right, Active Disclosure will take care of it for you. It would ensure that all your documents are universally updated. And very soon, we'll also be rolling out an AI capability that will allow you to take your document and compare it against your peers. So what comes back to you would be a report on the similarities, the differences, and some suggestions to help you improve and stand out against your peers. So Active Disclosure is not just a software for the pre-IPO stage, but at the post-IPO stage as well. And don't just take my word for it, right? Just look at some of the logos that we have on screen, some reputable names in the market. So they are all trusting DFIN and trusting Active Disclosure for their SEC filings. Okay, so when you do work with DFIN, regardless of which option you decide on, whether it's our traditional full service or software Active Disclosure, we will provide that hand-holding support to guide you along every step of your IPO journey. And our role would remain the same. We just want to ensure that we offer you timely, accurate, and seamless SEC filings. Okay, so this is the foundation that we offer and the commitment that we make to you, so you can focus on telling your business story to the rest of the world. All right, that's it from me. So if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me later on, or my colleagues available today. Thank you.